Thank everyone for coming. Today we have a special opportunity to honor my brother, Eagle Scout Charles William Smith II, as he joins the Brotherhood of Eagle Scouts. Would everyone at this time please rise for the presentation of the colors by the color guard and the Pledge of Allegiance call, and last but not least our Scoutmaster George Liebegot.
Now by the power vested in me by the National Council of Boy Scouts of America, I declare this court of honor to be duly convened for the sole purpose of presenting the Eagle Scout Award to Charles William Smith II. We are here today to recognize Charles for his great accomplishment. We'd also like to take the moment to honor all the past Troop 102 Eagle Scouts. Ethan Conklin and Reese Kresge will now call the roll of Troop 102's past Eagle Scouts.
Continuing with today's program, it is fitting to pause for a moment to remind ourselves of what scouting means in the lives of the boys and in the life of our community. Each scout brings different needs, interests, and abilities to scouting, and each takes different lessons away. But research has shown that scouting has an enormous impact on young men's lives. Here are some statistics. Of any 100 boys who become scouts, it must be confessed that 30 will drop out during their first year. This may be regarded as failure, but later in life they will remember the days and speak well of scouting. Of the 100, it is rare that one will ever appear before a juvenile court. 12 of the 100 will be from families that have no religious affiliation. Through scouting, these 12 and their family members will come into contact with the church, synagogue, or mosque and will continue to be active all their lives. 6 of the 100 will enter the ministry. Each of the 100 will learn something from scouting. Almost all will develop hobbies that will add interest through their lives. Many will serve in the military, which will serve well from their years in scouting. At least one will use it to save someone alive, and some will credit it to saving their own. 5 of the 100 will reach the rank of Eagle, and at least one will say he valued his Eagle's badge above a college degree. Many will find their future vocation through merit badge work and scouting contacts. 17 of the 100 boys will become scout leaders. Only 1 in 4 boys in America will become a scout. But it's interesting to know that of the leaders of this nation in business, religion, and politics, 3 out of 4 were scouts. Today, of course, we're not here to honor 100 scouts, just 1. In a little while, we'll hear about some of the things Charles has learned in scouting.
It is only fitting that we rededicate this Eagle candidate by reviewing the Scout Law.
This candle represents the spirit of scouting, a spirit which burns brightly in the heart of every scout. Let us renew our spirit by reminding ourselves of the meaning of the Scout Law. The version that Charles chose is John Wayne's Scout Law. A scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. Nice words. Trouble is, we learn them so young. Sometimes we don't get all the understanding that goes with them. I take care of that in my family as each boy reaches scout age. I make sure he learns the Scout Law. Then I break it down for him with a few things I picked up in more than half a century since I learned it.
Prompt and cheery. Anyone can put a happy face when the going is good. The secret is to wear it as a mask for your problems. It might surprise you how many others do the same thing.
Scout is thrifty. He does not want to only destroy property. He works faithfully, wastes nothing, and makes the best use of his opportunities. He saves his money so that he can pay his own way, is generous to those in need, and helpful to worthy projects. It means a lot more than putting pennies away, and it's the opposite of cheap. Common sense just about covers it as well as anything.
A scout is reverent. He is reverent towards God. Believe in anything you want to believe in, but keep God at the top of it. With him, life can be a beautiful experience. Without him, you're just biding time.
Now he was a man, knew that none of these other mountains were insurmountable, all that could be and would be climbed, for he had learned many skills in the climbing of the first mountain, and he would carry those skills with him long after his mountain was forgotten. And besides, he could begin climbing the next mountain tomorrow. Tonight he would rest and celebrate, ponder the journey he completed. And so today, we pause to rest and celebrate and honor this fine young man, Eagle Scout Charles William Smith II, as he stands at the top of the world and looks around him.
This is the voice of the eagle who has watched for years as you struggled to ascend to your heart. Think back for a moment, back to the day when you first joined Troop 102, how small you felt in your crisp new uniform, struggled to recite the Scout Oath and Law with other Boy Scouts. I watched you stole a glance upward, looking toward the clouds and wondering if you could ever achieve the summit of Scouting. Soon you began your advance, mastering the Oath and Law and beginning to learn the way of the Scout. You camped overnight for a few weekends with our troop and then spent an entire week away from home at summer camp, Goose Pond. I watched you grow in skills and in spirit those first 6 months. I saw the pride in your face as I handed you your Tenderfoot badge. It wasn't long before a year had passed. Your Tenderfoot badge was long gone, replaced with a second-class badge and then the badge of the first-class Scout. You'd begun to climb toward Eagle, and as I watched, I could sense your determination. But I also knew that many Scouts start off determined only to become discouraged. The climb from first class to Eagle becomes harder with each step, and only a handful of Scouts reach the top. In fact, as you climbed, you could see that there were far fewer Scouts ahead of you clearing the path than there were behind you following in your footsteps. Along the way, I saw you grow in other ways. For years, you grew as a leader and a Scout in Troop 102 and attended camp at Goose Pond, Bresco Falls, Camp Mincy, and Camp Trexler. Then on December 15, 2015, you broke through the clouds and became a Life Scout. It was then I could see clearly in your face, in your heart, I knew you someday would join our Eagle Brotherhood. Over this time, I've watched as you've earned the last of your merit badges, so that now 32 badges parade across your sash. I've watched you serve Troop 102 as quartermaster, chaplain's aide, webmaster, and assistant patrol leader, reaching down constantly to help your fellow Scouts in their climb towards the summit. I've watched you give back to your community as well through your Eagle Scout service project. You chose to help here at the American Legion because they are the charter organization for our troop, and you wanted to give back to them for all that they do for the troop. They were in desperate need of a new porch, so you removed the old one, built a new one, and also cleared away an unused porch and cleaned up that area as well. Now I stand ready with all Eagle Scouts who have gone before you to welcome you to our ranks as you join the Brotherhood of Eagle Scouts. Charles, complete your rededication to the principles of Scouting, as you have done so many times before. I ask you to recite the Scout Oath one more time.
On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country, to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straightened.
It is now time for the highlight of our program, the presentation of the Eagle Scout Award. We've heard a lot today about what it means to be an Eagle Scout. While becoming an Eagle Scout is a great honor, it also a great responsibility. At this time, the Voice of the Eagle will remind you what it means to live as an Eagle Scout. I would like to ask Roger Courtney to speak about the responsibility of being an Eagle Scout.
I am pleased to welcome you to the Brotherhood of Eagle Scouts. Only 5% of the boys who enter Scouting achieve what you have here today. Your achievement is a recognition of your perseverance and ability. But I'm not here to talk of past accomplishments, which are great, but of your future opportunities. Of course, when you go to Scouting functions, you'll be recognized as a doer, and you'll have the opportunity of standing as a leader among leaders. But your Eagle Award will have meaning far beyond Scouting itself. You are a marked man, and your achievement will follow you throughout your life. The things you have done, the leadership and sense of honor you have developed will mean more to you than a certificate and a piece of ribbon. You'll have many more opportunities to serve your fellow man through school, work, and in Scouting, because you know what you can do. In years to come, you will casually meet other Eagles and have an instant bond of camaraderie. You each have shared experiences and know you can be trusted. The camaraderie among Eagles extends throughout the world. For the rest of your life, you travel as a marked man and an Eagle Scout. Welcome.
Charles, your parents had undoubtedly been the primary source of help and strength. No one will ever know the unnumbered acts of self-sacrifice from your mother. I'd like your mother to pin the Eagle Medal on your uniform. In recognition of your mother's devotion, please present her with this Eagle Mother's Pin. Your father has been the source of much advice and guidance along the Eagle Trail, so I'd like him to present the Eagle Scout certificate to you. In return, please present your father with this Eagle lapel pin. Congratulations, Charles. On behalf of the Eagle Court of Honor Committee, I'd like now to present you with a special Eagle Edition neckerchief. First time going? And now it gives me great pleasure to present to you our newest Eagle Scout, Charles William Smith II. In scouting, you've learned and lived the Cub Scout promise, the law of the pack, the Cub Scout motto, and of course the Scout oath, law, motto, and slogan. Each time you were presented with a new code of conduct, the words were unfamiliar and you struggled to memorize them. Later, of course, you could recite them as easily as you could repeat your own name. They and the lessons taught became part of you. Today, for the first time, you repeat the Eagle Scout promise. Again, some of the words will be unfamiliar, but as you live out the life of an Eagle, they too will become part of you. Making this new promise does not mean that you should forget all the other promises. Instead, I challenge you to always remember and live by all the promises you've made as a scout, all the codes you've agreed to follow. By doing that, you will prove yourself worthy of the Eagle badge you received today. At this time, I would like all Eagle Scouts present to come up front and stand behind Charlie. Eagles, please make the Scout sign and repeat after me. I reaffirm my allegiance to the three promises of the Scout Oath. I thoughtfully recognize and take upon myself the obligations and responsibilities of an Eagle Scout. On my honor, I will do my best to make my training example, my rank and my influence count strongly for better scouting and for better citizenship in my troop, in my community, and in my contacts with other people. To this I pledge my sacred honor. Two. Eagles, please be seated.
That deck, outstanding. I've seen your parents and you working on it at the same time. And it came out very, very good. Very nice. Okay. Scouting and the American Legion. The Scouting movement and the American Legion share the same principles of duty to God and duty to country. In cooperation, the American Legion and Scouting offer character building, citizenship, training, and personal fitness opportunities for America's youth. Both provide the youth of our nation the skills necessary to become better citizens who recognize their responsibility to God and country. Scouting is designed to help meet the needs, wants, and problems of the coming generation that is built around providing America's youth opportunity to experience new and interesting skills and careers while developing a sense of community. At this time, I'd like to call up the Sergeant at Arms at Post 927, Doc Pellerin. Charles William Smith II, in recognition of your individual efforts and dedication to achieving your goals, this certificate of achievement is awarded to you with great pride by the West End Memorial American Legion Post 927. Congratulations, Eagle Scout.
I'm very excited to be here today. I've known your mom and dad since high school, so knowing them and the way that they've modeled themselves. Bill Walters also, and Barb, it's not too much of a far-fetched idea that you'd be running this path. Now you gotta buck up a little bit too. On behalf of the Right Worshipful Grand Lodge of Pennsylvania and the Right Worshipful Grand Master of Free and Accepted Masons in Pennsylvania, I have a letter of commendation and a certificate to provide to you. It says, Dear Eagle Scout Charles, congratulations on achieving the rank of Eagle Scout in the Boy Scouts of America. To be the recipient of the Eagle Scout is indeed a great accomplishment. As it has been said on many occasions, by our deeds we are known. And that's why we're here today, to celebrate. The wisdom of this statement is applicable to your quest to become an Eagle Scout, for you were expected to show the deeds you planned and accomplished to those who would judge you worthy of the rank. As you completed the many scouting activities necessary to achieve the rank of Eagle Scout, you were demonstrating the deeds you accomplished and providing a service for others. Your path to the rank of an Eagle Scout gives evidence of service and preparation for life. We as Freemasons follow a similar path. Freemasons whose singular purpose is to make good men better are respectable citizens who are taught to conform to the moral laws of society and to abide by the laws of government under which they live. They are men of charity and good works through service to others. So in recognition of your accomplishment to the esteem we hold for scouting and you, we also are sending a certificate of recognition from the Right Worshipful Grand Master on behalf of the members of the Grand Lodge of Pennsylvania. It is our hope that you live a productive life and through service to others make our world a better place. And it's signed by S. Eugene Herritt, Right Worshipful Grand Master of the Free and Accepted Masons of Pennsylvania. I might hesitate to guess that maybe we will be raising him through the ranks at one point. Do you think this was hard? Congratulations.
The upper deck. I happened to be at a Red Sox game last night, and it was at Yankee Stadium, however. We were 6 seats from the top of the stadium, so this is the upper deck. Over 45 years ago, a Pocono District Scouter and the famed Cub Master of Pac 85, named Claire Wallingford, began a tradition. He presented an Eagle statue at the Court of Honor for each Eagle Scout in the Pocono District. Mr. Wallingford made these statues himself, and before his death in 2006, he had presented almost 500 of them. At each presentation, Claire would recite a poem called It's Only a Pin. After his passing, the Pocono District wished to continue this tradition as a special way of honoring our new Eagle Scouts as well as honoring the legacy of a fine scouter. With the generous funding provided by the Vietnam Veterans of America, Stroudsburg Chapter 678, the district is able to do this. Charles, I am honored to be here today to play a part in continuing that fine tradition by presenting you this statue and certificate on behalf of the Pocono District.
The emblem of right. It seems just a few short months have passed since he joined with the youngsters next door. How proud they were then of their tenderfoot pin, as they told of the message it bore. But the years have gone as he struggled along to learn what the scout law is about. He practiced them daily, the oath and the law, until now he is an Eagle Scout. You may smile in your worldly wisdom at this and say, why, it's only a pin. But I'll tell you, no honors he'll gain as a man will mean quite as much to him. The red, white, and blue of the ribbon you are the symbols of honor and truth. He has learned how to value these fine attributes in the glorious days of his youth. And the outflinging wings of the eagle that rests on the breast of the knights of today are the wings which will lift him above petty deeds and guide him along the right way. Yes, it's only a pin, just an Eagle Scout badge, but the heart beneath it beats true and will throb to the last for the things that are good, a lesson for me and for you. In memory of Claire Wallingford.
Distinguished group of patriotic Americans who give their all each day to God and to country is outstanding achievement which you will proudly carry with you for the rest of your life. Our nation is grateful for your years of hard work, dedication, and commitment to the Boy Scout oath. Inspired by your spirit of service, America will look to you and your fellow Eagle Scouts for strong, principled leadership in the years ahead. With the very best wishes, Donald Trump. And the other one that put right up there with the president is from Chuck Norris. So, Dear Eagle Scout, this is a first for Chuck Norris I've seen, so that's pretty cool. I'd like to congratulate you on earning the Eagle Scout. Becoming an Eagle Scout is an accomplishment that will stay with you your entire life. You have now joined the ranks of some of our nation's greatest leaders in politics, religion, military, and business. You have in your life great discipline for success. Scouting, and I encourage you to remember the values you have learned since they will help you succeed in life. You have achieved the rank of Eagle Scout, which only a small percentage of young men will ever do. You've accomplished this by setting goals and working hard to accomplish these goals. May God bless you in all your future endeavors. Sincerely, Chuck Norris. Remember your first camp out? You were about that tall, your backpack was about that big, and each of your blue eyes were about that big. I'm glad to see you grew into them over time. They were the most distinct feature. And I say that because when I went for the final Eagle Board, they asked me to talk about the boy, and I said about the blue eyes, and the gentleman says, "Did you read these letters?" I said, "No, I don't know what you're talking about." One of the letters, recommendation, a woman said she had known him his whole life, and she remembers his big blue eyes. And when we learned about it, I said, well, it's a feature no one can forget. But perseverance, why I say that is because I know camping at first, like most boys, is not their favorite thing, especially in winter months. And you learn. You learn a lot. But I always remember there was one camp out where we had about 15 boys signed up. And as the forecast came in for that week, and the temperature kept dropping and dropping, the high for the camp out was going to be 4 degrees. Well, suddenly everybody's grandmother was coming in. Their, mom and dad had to go away. There was all these excuses, but there was 4 boys, and those 4 boys are all Eagle Scouts now. So it says something, And like I said, perseverance. You as a quartermaster, you set the bar for quartermaster's sins. You learned a lot there too, and I'm really proud of you with that. Congratulations, Charles.
Find my speech real quick. Here we are. I want to make sure I'm reading off of this. All right, so I want to begin by thanking all of you for coming. This is a huge honor, and I'm so I have people who just came from so far just to come see me, and I'm so glad you guys made time to come see. So my Eagle project, as you all know, was not a small task. Building a porch was something that takes a lot of work, and from someone without a building background, there wasn't much knowledge in my head, so I needed people help me with that. I want to thank all the people that came to help me and assisted me with that, because, like I said, I wasn't very good at it. Without their help, I would not have got there. I want to start by thanking the American Legion Post 927 for all their help and assistance with the project, the Home Association, the Legion Riders, the Sons of the American Legion. They all provided some financial help, which was a very, very helpful thing. Members of the Legion actually came out and helped me with the project. Again, very thankful for that. I'd also like to thank all the scouts from Troop 102. You all know who you are. You guys, you came out, helped me tidy up the project, work on the project. Many of you guys, you guys have always been there for me. You've always helped me with things, and then you even came out and helped with the project, and that meant a lot to me. I'd like to also thank Mr. Matt Neeb at Chestnut Hill Township. He gave me all the guidance I needed for permits and zoning and getting everything set up so that I could actually do the project. So without him, I wouldn't have been able to even start it. I'd also like to thank Mr. Eric Snyder from KC Engineering. He did the blueprints, which are over on the table to look at. He donated them. He did them. He put all his work and effort into them to make sure I had them, and then just donated them free of charge. He also gave time and advice if I needed to just call him and ask him for help on the project. He was always available to help. I'd also like to thank Mr. Wayne Soups Campbell from the Legion. He came out and helped with the demolition of the porch and rebuilding it. I don't think he's here today, but he was a very big help with the project, and he deserves a big thank you. Mr. Hightower from the Legion as well, he came and disposed of all of the scrap wood from the original project, again, free of charge, just as a service, and I want to thank him for that. Mr. Everett Shaver, he was my beneficiary for the project, go-to person for anything I needed with the Legion. If I had questions on anything, he was always there if I needed him, and he was always able to get members out to help me with the project if I needed extra help. Mr. Pat McHale, who is Jonathan's carpentry instructor at MCTI, he came out and gave up a whole Saturday just to help me put the porch together, make sure I knew where things went, how things went together. If I didn't know what I was doing, he was there. He helped with the railings. I'd also like to thank Mr. Steve Scheckler. He was a big help when it came to actually putting the stairs together, which was a harder part of the project. Big help. When the inspector actually changed the plans, the stairs were one of the things that got changed, and he was still able to come out and help me build them, even with all the different changes. And, his oversight helped me with hours of confusion with building the stairs. So, thank you very much. Would you please come up? I have something for you then. Mr. Scheckler, I have a card and a commemorative coin for you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for all the
Thank
help
you,
guys
Steve.
did.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So after Mr. Scheckler, I have someone that deserves a very, very, very big thank you from me, Mr. John Mackis. Scott Mackis is his father. My project wouldn't have gotten done without Mr. Mackis. He devoted so much time and so much effort, everything for the project. He donated tools, his time, his expertise. Without him, I wouldn't have been able to finish this. He was my Cub Master back when I was in PAC 102. He's always been here as his son, Scott, has advanced behind me. He's always been with them. I just can't say how thankful I am to have Mr. Mackis. I wouldn't be standing at this podium thanking people if it wasn't for Mr. Mackis. Could you please come up?
Thank you very much.
But you need to open that
I
up.
want to say one word about this young man. Proud. Very proud of him.
We want you to open the gift inside the bag.
Oh, is that a hammer? Oh, thank you.
Of course, Mr. Mackis.
Thank you very much.
Oh, don't leave yet, Joe. Still got something.
I also wanted to present you with the mentor pin.
Very nice.
Scout mentor pin.
Well, thank you
Honestly,
very much.
Again, you were huge.
It's a little more than you need to do, but I really appreciate it.
You provided more than you had to for my project. I could not present you with this.
Oh, you think for a scout.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You want to put that on me?
Go get a hammer. You'll go through it.
Thank you again. Like I said, good young man, and I am proud of him. Thank you.
Thank you. So aside from everybody that I've already recognized, there's 5 people that were also instrumental in my Eagle project. First, my dad and my brother Jonathan. They came up and devoted a bunch of time, a lot of effort into my project. Again, without John, he does carpentry at MCTI. He provides some skills and some work in the project that I couldn't have done myself. If it were not for him, I also wouldn't have been able to have his instructor come up and help. And he and my dad came in if I needed help moving things. When it came to harder work, they were always there to help me. Secondly, my grandpa. He came up and looked at the blueprints with me and helped me come up with a parts list, made sure I knew exactly what I needed for the project so I could go to the lumber company and go, this is what I need. It was big help in explaining things. Next, my mom and my grandma. They were always there when I needed help with anything else. your support, helped me get motivated because, as we all know, teenagers need motivation. And again, when it comes to procrastination, that's another thing teenagers are big on. So if it wasn't for you guys supporting me and pushing me, I might not be up here. I can't really list every single thing you guys have done for me because you've done so many things to help me with the project. So thank you. That's all I can say. I never would have gotten this far without the support of friends and family, and I would not be up here today without you guys. I can't say thank you enough. And so my journey through scouting, it's been long and life-changing. Being able to see scouting all the way from being a little tiny tiger cub all the way up to being an Eagle Scout today, it's amazing. It's something I'm going to be proud of forever. I was able to just do so many new things, learn a bunch of new skills. I got this affinity for the outdoors, which has continued to help me spend more time outdoors and has led me to a summer job at a K-Land Cub Scout camp in Jonas. I earned a ton of merit badges, went to camp. As George said, we started at Goose Pond, got to do some really cool things as well as some other more important badges, got to learn first aid. A number of those were required for getting the rank I am today, and I had tons of fun doing them. So my experiences with scouting again led me to that job at a K-Land. I've been there for 3 years now. I'll be going back this summer. It's a ton of fun. I get to teach all these Cub Scouts, and I remember being their age, being in a little uniform, being amazed at all these older guys doing all these amazing things, and now I get to teach those guys and show them new skills, and it's just, I'm proud of it. It's amazing to do. I want to thank Eagle Scout Eric Miller for actually getting me that position at a K-Land. If it weren't for him, I might not have had the confidence to go and find that job. He gave me the confidence to go and get a position up there. I'd also like to thank the staff from K-Land. They were unable to attend due to other scouting events. I'd like to thank the leader of the camp up there. His name is James Feuerstein, goes by Foof. Eric Miller again, a guy named by the name of Adam, Andrew, a guy named Ginger, Dan, and another guy whose nickname is Beans. There's a bunch of memories from Scouts I'm going to cherish forever. A great example was just recently our troop did a trip to Philadelphia. We camped in the city limits, and we went to go and see all these memorials and monuments. It was a lot of fun being with all these guys and just going to see all these memorials as opposed to a typical camp out. We had a lot of fun. We all wanted to do it again. It was amazing, and I'll never forget stuff like that. If I'd never joined scouting back in first grade, with a bit of pushing from my parents, I probably would have never met some of the people like Matthew, Tyler, my best friend Liam. Like they've all advanced through scouting with me. If I hadn't joined Cub Scouts, I might not have become best friends with them like I did. Both Tyler and Matthew are going to have earned their Eagle Scout, and they will have their ceremonies at some point. Without them, again, they were always there with me. I always had friends with me through scouting, which is something, you'll make a lot of friends in scouting. That's why I always recommend it to people. Boy Scouts also gave me the opportunity to paddle a canoe down to Delaware, something I might not have done without scouting. Scale a rock face, again, something I wouldn't have done without scouting because I have a small fear of heights. I got to hike part of the Appalachian Trail, which runs behind right where I live, but I had never really thought about hiking it till our troop went on it. Did a very long hike. It was exhausting, but it was definitely worth it. I got to sleep outside below 0 degrees in a shelter I made myself, which it sounds like it would be miserable. It was actually pretty comfortable. I got to sleep in too. It was pretty nice. I also want to give a big thanks to my Scoutmaster George Liebegot. He pushed me to try a lot of these things, especially like the rock climbing and the canoeing, which I was admittedly very nervous about doing. He helped me step outside of my comfort zone, showing me that I'm tougher than I think I am, and I should look at challenges from a different point of view, as opposed to looking from the rock climbing from, I'm afraid of heights. Look at it as, you just climb on a wall. Thank you, George, for all the help with the paperwork on the Eagle Project. He helped me sort through the whole pile of things I had to fill out, and it was really invaluable, your help, when it came to filling out things and making sure it was all done correctly. And you've molded me into the Scout I am today, and I have something for you as well.
It's in the back.
Yeah, that's right.
The one that says George on it.
Thank you, buddy.
I'd also like to thank Mr. Miller, Eric Miller's father. He was another one of my scoutmasters. He's been in my scouting experiences since I was a Tiger Cub, which again is a big thing because that's a lot of years together. So I want to say thank you for all the help he's given me. I'd also like to acknowledge Mr. Tucciaroni. His son has already earned Eagle through our troop. He was another one of our scoutmasters, and without his persistence back at Camp Mincy, I might not have passed my swim test, which would have meant that I would have got second class. So big thank you to him. I'd also like to thank all of the scouts here, all of their parents for shuttling us back and forth between all these events, making sure we got places on time, making sure we got our stuff done, because again, without you guys, we wouldn't be Eagle Scouts without you. I'd also like to recognize my RV family who came out all the way from Ohio. We met many years ago during some camping trips, and they said if I ever an Eagle, they would make sure they got here, and as you can see, they did. Thank you so much for just making your way out here. I know it was a long drive. And, you know, OH. So thank you all for coming out again. Within Troop 102, I got to hold a bunch of positions: quartermaster, chaplain's aide, webmaster, assistant patrol leader. I got to join the Order of the Arrow. That's something I always recommend if you're in scouting. If you're younger, do Order of the Arrow. It's a lot of fun. And when I was there, I got to see a lot of people. A lot of them were newer like me, getting their first rank with OA. But I got to meet some people who had been there many, many years. Some people who were just a bit older than me. It was just cool to see so many different generations of people in the same organization. I'm really glad that you guys convinced me to join Cub Scouts, because if I hadn't, I wouldn't be standing up here. I wouldn't have done all these amazing things I get to talk about. And you guys made sure that I stuck with it all the way through to Eagle, so thank you guys so much. Scouting is a great experience. It's probably the best one a boy could ask for. I recommend it to pretty much everyone. It's amazing. You won't regret it. It's left me with lots of skills, friends, and plenty of fun experiences, lots of memories. So look around the room. All of you were part of helping me get here to where I am today. Thank you all.
Cool. Who was that boy? That's our introverted son who's never spoken like that ever. So I had to. Good job. Last page.
All right. Excuse the wait. Today's been a very special day. Thank you all for attending and participating in my brother's ceremony. Let's give our newest Eagle Scout, Charles, one more round of applause. I'd like to ask our grandmother, Barbara Walters, to come up to give our benediction.
Most gracious Lord and God, today we give thanks for all who have gathered here to celebrate with Charles on his receiving the rank of Eagle Scout. His journey to this day began at age 6 when he first joined Cub Scouts. As he rose through the ranks of scouting, he grew, not only in stature, but also in mind and spirit. Now, as an Eagle Scout, he has the opportunity to be a positive influence on younger scouts, just as he has been doing through his yearly work as a camp counselor. We thank you, Lord, for the influence you have had on his life as a scout, and pray that he will continue to use his knowledge to help younger scouts achieve all that they are capable of. Becoming an Eagle Scout is not only an honor, it is a responsibility. May he continue to live his life responsibly, showing others that by living their lives according to the Scout oath, laws, and motto and slogan, anything is possible. We thank you, Lord, for the life of Charles, and pray that as his life moves forward, he will continue to exemplify the qualities of an Eagle Scout. Lord, on behalf of Charles, I now ask that you bless each person here today that all who are gathered here will be blessed by the influence of Charles and his accomplishments. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Color guard, please prepare to retire the colors.